See, few of you have not joined using your RVC ID even today. Okay, now don't exit. See, Satya is also asking outside RV college. So let them all join. We'll give them one more minute because the link is new. They might have confusions. I've put it on the group description also, just in case if they have any. Why are they all asking? Uh, okay, let them join. We will start in 2 minutes. Okay, we'll just give them 2 minutes time. Why is the strength less today? Any specific reason? Do you have any other event or anything like that?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So they will be joining then.
Ma'am, Bhavani is not feeling well, so she will not be joining the class.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, no problem. Let them get well. Many people are falling ill. Maybe it is because of the weather or something. So please take care of your health, all of you. Don't go anywhere. You don't require to go outside at all. Your parents are there at home. They will cook for you. You have to eat only homemade food for some time. Okay? Please take care of your health. Even I have fallen ill. In spite of doing all that, I had fallen ill. Okay, we will start. Okay, just to give importance to people who join on time and just not wait for the latecomers. Let us start the class. Okay, are you able to see this computer memory?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. We will start off. Okay. So till in the previous class, I was talking about components of a computer, and we had stopped. See, this is the problem, huh? And we had stopped at memory. Okay. See, I request all of you to join using RVCE ID so that I don't have to keep going back like this and keep admitting you. Next class onwards, Next class onwards, all of you listen to me. If you don't join using RVCE ID, I will not allow you inside the classroom. Okay, all of you should join my classroom. Can you see the classroom here? I think I've shared this window only. Okay, see, I have created a classroom. I have sent this link to you, class joining link. The class code is also here. You can take this class code also and you can join using this class code. You can join using this class code. Okay. Once you join in the people list, I will get your names. Bhuvan, you have joined the classroom, still you're using your Gmail ID to join the meet?
No, ma'am. Did I accidentally do it?
Yes, yes. You see, all of you, now you don't do anything. Now you don't quit because
No,
it's already late. Huh?
I'm not sure what happened actually.
I don't know. If see, it says outside RV College of Engineering.
No, I've joined using my RV email ID.
Mom, same. Even I joined using my RV email itself, but it's
But
asking for me to request permission.
No problem if you request permission, but
Okay.
use your. But it says outside RV College of Engineering.
no,
No, Mom,
ma'am.
I've used
I've
my
joined
college
you.
email itself.
I've used the college email itself.
It's
Yeah.
saying for me when you join here, it says outside RV College. See, Shashank can be joined now properly. See here, can you see my screen?
Yes,
Anand
ma'am.
Kumar outside RV College of Engineering. It says outside RV
Yes,
College.
ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
does it say outside for me as well?
it did. That's why I asked you.
No, that's my RV email ID itself, the one I'm talking through right now. That's why.
Okay, so once you join the classroom, in the people list, I will get your names. Not everybody of you have joined the classroom. So please join the classroom. There are only 18 students as of now who have joined. Right now, you don't have to join. After the class, you can join. Why do you have to join the classroom is here in the stream, I have just typed a hello students, welcome to the PIC Google Classroom. But what you can do is here I'll keep announcing something to your class every now and then. I'll keep sharing materials, I'll keep sharing programs for you to try, keep giving you assignments. So instead of putting it on WhatsApp, as it is, I want to use WhatsApp to the minimum possible extent. Can't sit with my phone always, so it's not good for my health, not good for anybody's health for that matter. So I don't want to use WhatsApp. So it is better I share documents. I'm very comfortable using the Google Classroom. That is why I have created this. I also, I was just telling people who joined late, you can use this code to join the class, or I have given you the invite link on your WhatsApp so that you can join the class. Another thing is, other than your RVCE email IDs, one second. I can get your RVCE email IDs from here, but other than using like this, okay, other than using your RVCE email ID, I also have your group email ID, which I will be using in my Google Classroom in order to send you emails. Okay, so kindly make sure, see here. Okay, that is okay. It's not outside. Rohit now is not outside. Okay, so fine. So when I have to email individual student, I will get your email ID like this. Okay, I'll get your email ID like this so that I can compose a mail and send it to you. Fine. Okay. Now that's about classroom. Classroom. Now I always suggest you to join using your computer and not through phone, because sometimes when we start doing our programming, when we start doing our programming, I will ask you to try out something. I will show you something on the slide and I'll ask you to try out and share the screen to see what output you are getting. You're with me? So because we are in the online mode, I would want to do this. And for your information, if I was in the offline mode also, I teach Java, I teach C sharp. I don't know if you've heard of it. C sharp. I teach Java, I teach C sharp. I teach a lot of other programming languages also. So all these PHP scripting language I teach, JavaScript scripting language I teach, web technology I teach. So all these requires programming. What I do is, even in the offline class, I ask my students to bring in their laptops, and they will work parallelly with me as I am teaching. So it is easier for me to make you do hands-on instead of just teaching you theory over and over again. Okay, now today's class we have to complete something. I know you will all be able to read and understand these things, but as a part of our duty, we have to complete a little bit about the theory part of memory. We will do that and then we will get into C programming directly. Okay. And please refrain from joining late. Don't join late to the class because it is going to disturb everybody in the class. Fine. Now, one component of a computer, very important component of a computer, which we have not yet touched upon, is memory. Now, what is memory? Do we have memory? Me and you? Yes, we do have memory. Why do we have memory? And how do we know the existence of memory? We know the existence of memory because we can remember things, right? Memory is to remember things. Memory is something that is going to store data in it. Be it human memory, the brain is the important part of the human body, which will help us retain things in our mind. Right? Like that, in our computer, memory is also a very important part of the computer, which will help you retain things. This is a part of your CPU. Okay, central processing unit we were seeing in the previous class. One part of the CPU is memory. Right? So this memory is where you can store anything you want. This is a very important part because computer means storage of data, processing data, and outputting data. These are the three important functionalities of any computer. Inputting data, you will have input devices. Output data, you will have output devices. But to store data, you require memory. Okay. Next. Now, how do you measure? What is the distance between your house and RV College of Engineering? You're going to measure it using kilometers or meters. You're going to use some units. How do you measure the side of a rectangle written on a book, right? Which is drawn on a page of a book. You use a scale and measure it using inches or centimeter. Like that, memory can also be measured. These are some basic things about memory, which is very important for all of you to know. First thing about memory is it can be measured using units. Different types of units are there to measure the computer memory. The smallest unit of computer memory is a bit. Okay, computer can understand only bits and bytes. We've been telling this since the beginning of the class, right? What is this bit? That is the smallest unit of computer memory. Okay, again, computer memory can be measured in other versions of bits. Okay, other units of bits. The smallest unit is the bit. If there are 8 bits, we call that as 1 byte. We call that as 1 byte. 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. Next, just bits and bytes is not sufficient for us. There could be so many bytes of memory. So we can measure that memory in terms of kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes. Now you can boast, right, saying that I buy a terabyte, 3 terabyte of hard disk. I have a 3 TB hard disk. What is this TB, GB, MB, KB? Okay, what is this TB, KB, GB, MB? All these things, they are nothing but kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte. Okay, kilobyte means what? 1024 bytes form 1 kilobyte. 1 kilobyte. 1024 kilobytes will form 1 megabyte. 1 megabyte. See this representation, this has to be a capital K, this has to be a capital M, and this has to be a capital G, this has to be a capital T, like that. Okay. See here, 1 gigabyte is 1024 megabyte, 1 terabyte is 1024 gigabyte. Okay, so this thing you have to remember all the time. When you next time when you are conversing with your parents, give me 1 minute, I'll just close the door. Next time you're conversing with your friends and your family members, saying that I have what is that? I have 40 GB free space in my hard disk. That means to say it is gigabyte. Okay, so all these things can be expressed in the parts of 10 also. Okay, so that we will see later, no problem. For now, if you just know this, it is sufficient. Memory can be classified into two things. One is primary memory and the second one is secondary memory. Primary memory and secondary memory. Generally, the primary memory is the memory that is there inside your CPU. Fine, that is also called as internal memory. Your CPU will have what is called as motherboard. It will have what is called as motherboard. Okay, this motherboard has this primary memory directly connected to it. Little bit of data is stored in the primary memory. This is very much required for your computer. This is generally used by your manufacturer for the functioning of your system, to store all that is required for the initial functioning of your system. That is the primary memory. This primary memory is further divided into RAM and ROM. Read only memory and random access memory. RAM and ROM. RAM is random access memory. It is going to store the immediate retrieval required data. Okay, there are so many different companies who are coming up with RAM. Okay, temporary data storage happens in RAM, which, see, user is currently using so many different things. See here, if you can see my window here, look at the amount of tabs I have opened. Look at the amount of tabs I have opened. Right, I switched between tabs. PIC chemical, I wanted to show you something, I switched here, I did this, I did that, then I went to online C debugger, then I came back to your presentation. All this should be in memory, quickly accessible memory, right? Once I click on this, it should immediately come back, right? Such things which require quick access for a temporary period of time. How long? Till I close this window, it is going to be there in the memory. After that, it is going to be erased. It is not going to store this PIC chemical and meet link and online C debugger all its life. It is not going to store there permanently. Oh, after I close these windows, it is going to be taken out from that memory. It is going to be erased from the memory. Okay. Now, RAM requires power. It requires electricity to work. Now, when I switch off, when I shut down my computer, when I go here and say shut down, it will say, you have opened so many windows, everything will be shut down. Is it okay? If I say okay, everything will be closed, erased, shut down. Once you boot your computer again, these things won't be there in the memory. You will have to open it all over again. But when I just close the lid of my laptop, based on the settings, when I just close the lid of my laptop and open it back, will it be there? Yes, it will be there. The laptop had gone into sleep mode, but all these things were put in a short-term memory, saying that when the laptop wakes up, it comes back to active state, then all these things, all these tabs should become active again. Fine. So RAM is random access memory, and it is going to store data which the user is currently using, and it is temporary. And the computer power is turned off, all the data in the RAM is erased. Okay. Now this will have on the motherboard, you will have something like this. It will have a separate slot in the motherboard. Okay. All your softwares, PIC chemical, meet, online C debugger, my email, all these things are software applications. It is a part of my web application. It is a part of my web application, right? All these software applications, if it has to run fast, then your RAM is very much required. So when you buy a laptop, you will also check what is the RAM available. So 4 GB RAM is okay, 8 GB RAM is okay for all of us. If you have a 256 MB RAM, if you have a say 500 MB RAM, your computer will be a little actually very slow, right? You can use it only for basic activities. Even Word, Excel will be very slow on such computers. So minimum, whatever new laptops that we are getting will have 4 GB RAM. Okay, RAM can be further classified into static RAM and dynamic RAM. In this RAM only, as long as I have connected this RAM to the power, if the data is going to be stored in the RAM, then that is static RAM. Okay. SRAM, you don't have to, not you, the computer CPU, processor need not have to refresh this RAM every now and then. Okay. Dynamic RAM is a little less expensive. Whatever money we are giving for the RAM, no, for our computer, laptop, or CPU, we are paying for the SRAM actually. Okay, for the RAM part I'm telling. Of course, hard disk also we are paying a lot of money based on the memory that we have, and the display unit also based on what kind of a computer. These days you have these, what is that? Gaming computers also, right? With extra graphic card and all that. Everything you will be paying the money. It is all in total that you pay for a laptop. So for when you talk about paying money for RAM, you are going to pay lot of money for SRAM rather than DRAM. Okay. Now DRAM is dynamic RAM. It is going to contain again data when electricity is available. That's okay, but this one has to be refreshed every now and then. Then it requires CPU power. It requires processing in order to refresh it every 2 seconds, 1 second, 2 seconds, 10 seconds, etc. Okay. Any computer is going to make use of this RAM. Majority of your computers are going to make use of this dynamic RAM. Okay, this is a little slower than our SRAM. That's why I said you're going to pay whatever money you have for the SRAM, not for the DRAM. Of course, your RAMs, DRAM and SRAM both will be there on the laptop. Only SRAM will not be there. DRAM will also be there. The operating systems will operate in such a way is to make efficient use of both SRAM and DRAM. Okay, but this DRAM, the space that it occupies is much lesser than SRAM. Okay, dynamic RAM. Because it has to be refreshed every now and then, it is called as dynamic RAM. Now, what is ROM? ROM is read-only memory. Read-only memory. The name itself tells read-only. You can only read the data which is stored in that. Then why are we using this? If you have to boot your system, as soon as you switch on your computer, this is the memory that is going to come into picture. All the data that is stored in the BIOS of your system is going to be read from this memory. This is non-volatile. Each time you switch off your computer, it won't get erased. Or else you cannot boot your system at all. Your operating system will not work at all. Each time you will have to install BIOS. There are 3 types of ROM: PROM, EPROM, EEPROM. PROM, we call it instead of PROM, PROM, EPROM and EEPROM. Programmable read-only memory, erasable Programmable read-only memory. Okay, so if you remember this, it's a programmable read-only memory, erasable PROM, and electrically erasable PROM. Okay, here, how you erase the data, based on that only EEPROM, EEPROM and all that will come into existence. Now, PROM means programmable read-only memory. The data that is stored in this, we cannot change or alter any data onto it. This, when I buy a Dell laptop, the Dell person would have written something on this PROM. Okay, PROM. Let us call it PROM. Okay, so on this programmable ROM, our Dell or HP or whoever is the manufacturer, he is going to write data on it, onto it. Okay, now there are special tools that are required in order to write chip onto this PROM chip, that you and me cannot do it. There are PROM programming tools which can be used to write data on it. Okay, we all don't use it. We don't have to alter any data into it. We as users don't use it. We are only going to use what is told to us by the manufacturer. Okay, he stores certain registry details, system environment variable details, all these things in PROM, so that you don't change it. Erasable PROM means you can erase it. You can change or erase this. Okay. Now, how do you do that? You simply can't select like this and press delete. You will have to use UV rays. Okay, because you have to use UV rays, and because it is editable, and because it is erasable, changeable, modifiable, it is a little expensive than PROM. It is a little expensive than PROM. This is electrically erasable. Okay, you don't need UV rays now. Only electricity is required. Electrical charges are required. Electrical charges are required to erase these PROM. See, if you take a EEPROM, if you take your computer, if there is some error in your EEPROM, then the person is going to take out that chip and give it to a electric circuit which is going to erase the data in it, so that he can write some other data onto that. You and me will not have that unit at home. Be it for UV rays or for electrical charges, we cannot do it. We cannot do it. Again, that is why we give our laptop and computer for service if it is not working properly. Okay. Okay, next is secondary memory. This we can go a little fast because all of us know what is secondary memory. All your personal data in the computer is going to be stored in secondary memory. You can retrieve
In EEPROM, I have a doubt.
Yeah, Anirudh.
Yeah, in EEPROM, I have a doubt. It says it can be erased like 1 by 2, right? So is the data like, do you choose which data to be erased and put new one, or you erase the whole thing and put a new system itself?
No. Oh, no. What was your question? Yes.
When we give it to service,
Huh.
it's given that you can like it erases 1 byte at any time rather than erasing the entire chip. So is it like if there is something wrong in the data bar given in the EEPROM, is it like only the error part is taken out and new system? I mean, new data is put, or like they erase the whole thing and put it again?
Very good question. You observed it, right? We can check here in PROM, you use UV rays. Okay, in this EEPROM, you use UV rays. When you use UV rays, the UV rays cannot detect which byte or which bit of data you want to erase. It is going to erase the entire chip. Okay, here in EEPROM, you can use electrical charges. That unit is there. There is one hardware unit wherein you put in your chip. And that hardware unit is connected to the computer, and in the computer you can decide how much, like this, like how I am selecting text here, how many bytes of data you can actually mention, or you can actually select how many bytes of data can be erased. So 1 byte at a time can be erased instead of the entire chip. See, if this is your memory, if this entire thing is your memory, I can, if there is an error in the second part of the memory, I can give the address. I can give the starting address and ending address of the bytes that are stored, and we can delete only that part of the memory. That is why this is more useful than UV rays. Erasable PROM. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Secondary memory. In secondary memory, you have sequential memory and direct. The sequential, we don't call it sequential memory, we call it access. Okay, sequential access and direct access. There are two types of access methodologies. Oh, it is given here. Two methods for accessing the data, which is called as sequential access and direct access. Okay, now this is a very fundamental component of a computer system. Now this is non-volatile. This is non-volatile. Our operating system software is stored inside this secondary memory only. Okay, it could be hard disk, it could be optical disk, it could be magnetic disk, it could be any type of a system. If it could be any type of a storage that can hold user data, personal data that is non-volatile in nature. If it was volatile in nature, then there was no point in storing our operating system inside this type of a memory. Each time you switch off, if your operating system gets erased off, you will have to install it over and over again, right? So there are two methods of accessing: sequential, here line by line until you find the desired data. This line by line is, you can imagine that as a text, something like this. Okay, you can imagine this as something like a text. So line by line until you find the desired data, you can search for that data. Not you, actually the CPU is going to search for the data. Search for that data. When I go into some folder, I go here, I go here, I go there, etc. Oh, I think this is not shared. That's okay. When I get into some folder, try to access another folder inside the folder, try to access one more text file inside that folder, double click on the text file, double click on the text file. So there are pointers that are pointing to all of these access points that I am clicking. Okay, now what I am doing is I am directly getting into the text file and opening the text file. But in sequential, it so happens that it is going to read the data line by line. If you want to look for the data at the end of the file, it is going to read the data line by line until it reaches the end of the file. Okay, it is linear or it is sequential. Linear means line by line. Fine. So direct is, if you want to go to any part of the data storage, you have a pointer that holds the address to it, you directly go to it. You directly go to it, and that's the direct access. If you go line by line, it is linear access or sequential access. Next, magnetic tape. Magnetic tapes, you and me, forget you. Myself have not seen this magnetic tape. Okay, I have seen magnetic tapes in music cassettes, but not used for computers. Okay, this is a tape that can store data. This tape has magnetic coating. Okay, you can store data inside that, for example, songs, and that is what I have seen. Okay, and the songs can be played one line after another line from this magnetic tape. It reads data line by line. Okay, and so we can't find the exact location of any specified data. In order to see, you would have seen something like this, a video tape or a music tape. I don't know if you have seen, but there are specific readers for this. Tape recorder, tape record player we have, where it is going to run this magnetic tape line by line, and then it is going to help you listen to the music using the tape that you can see here. But if I want to go to specific line, no, it's not possible. You need to forward or rewind randomly, check if you have reached the line, etc. Okay. Now, magnetic disk is the most popular kind of a storage device which all of us are using right now, because whatever we say HD, right? Whatever we say hard disk. See, when I say HD, now kids will think it is high definition, because we are all in the world of high definition, right? It is not high definition. I'm talking about hard disk drive, HDD. You heard of it now? HDD, hard disk drive. Magnetic hard disk drive is a magnetic disk. This is direct access secondary storage. Direct access secondary storage, and that's why I told you, when I get into a folder inside a folder inside a folder inside a folder and then a text file, I'll get direct access to it. It is non-volatile. Non-volatile, once you store data into it, it is not going to lose when the power goes off. Okay, all our installation of our operating system and all that can be stored on magnetic disks. Okay, hard disk is also called as hard disk or hard disk drive or hard drive. Fine, 250 to 500 GB hard drive we have these days. Correct? We have lot of, previously when we used to buy a computer, say, I don't know how long back, say 20-25 years back, then if you have a 8 GB hard disk, that is great. These days you have laptops that come with 1 TB of hard disk, 2 TB, 10 TB, right? So it's in terabytes. You can fix it in your system as an external drive, or it can be a part of your CPU. Okay, if it is a part of your CPU, and that is where you install your operating system, and that's why your computer can be, that's why you can work on your computer. Fine. You can also have external hard drive these days. Correct? You can also have external hard drives these days. Western Digital, WD, hard drive. You will get 8 GB hard drive, 250 GB, 500 GB hard drive, which you can connect to your computer using USB port. Right? There are ports on your computer to which you can connect. Floppy disk is another removable flat piece of plastic, which you have never seen, I'm sure, because we only used it, say, very, very less. Floppy disk. Okay, there were two types of floppy disks. One is the smaller version, the other one is the bigger version. Okay, bigger version was, we say 5/4 floppy disk and 3.5 floppy disk. Okay, the first one was 5/4, which I've never seen in my life, so I can't expect you to see it. Another one was 3.5-inch floppy disk, which came into market, and it was used to store data, small amounts of data, yeah, 50 MB, 100 MB, 250 MB, 3 MB, all such data, 3 MB. There was small storage. Based on the amount of storage, you can pay so much money and buy a floppy disk. Okay, floppy disks were not cheap, they were expensive, but they used to store very small amount of data. Now we don't use floppy disks at all. Next is optical disk. Now also we are using optical disks. You have DVDs at home, right? You have DVD drives. Before DVD came in what is called as compact disc, CD. You'd have heard of all these things, maybe during your school days, CD and DVD. Now this is an optical disc, okay? It can store large amount of data. Large amount of data. If you want to store data into CD or DVD, you should have a disk reader or a disk writer. Now on laptops, I don't even know if your laptops will have CD drives. If they don't have, you should connect it externally in order to use a CD or DVD. Now because we are using flash drives, right? Flash drives or memory sticks. Let me see if there is anything about flash drive. No. Okay. Flash drive or memory sticks, all these CDs, DVDs have become outdated. Okay. Compact disc is the full form of CD. Okay. It can store 80 minutes of video recording. Continuous. Okay. It's not continuous. It is continuous. Continuous video recording. And CD up to 700 MB of data you can store. 700 MB of data you can store. Okay. Due to this, at that time, this was the highest when compared to a floppy disk, which can store 100 MB, 200 MB, enough. This was 700 MB. So people started storing music files, video files, started writing onto CD disc onto CDs using CD writers, right? And what the data on this CD is stored in form of what is called as bits. Okay, bits. There are so many different bits on your CD. Each bit will get filled with data, and it is accessed optically using your optical scanner, which is there as a part of your CD drive. If you have ever seen a CD drive, there will be a optical unit, bulb-like thing in your CD drive. Just see. If you open it, don't touch it and all that, it will get spoiled. These days, you don't even have service for CD drives. Okay, there are two types of CDs: compact disc read-only memory and CD read-write. If you want to write something onto CD, you should have a CD writer. If you just have a CD-ROM drive, you can only read data from CD. You cannot write onto it. Okay, CDs also come as read-only or erasable. Read-writable. You can overwrite something onto it. Okay. After CDs came DVDs. DVDs, you can store more data than CDs. It could store more data than CDs. See, as compared to 700 MB of CD, DVD can store up to 4.7 GB. Okay. It can store 4.7 GB. It looks similar to CD. It looks just like a CD, but the storage is higher. The capacity is higher and the cost is also higher. Just a second, my phone's. Yes. Okay, so the cost is also higher for your DVD. The cost is also higher for your DVD because it can store lot of data. DVD-ROM, DVD read-write. See, I will tell you an example. If you had to store a movie, you had CD1, CD2 for the same movie. You couldn't store one movie in a single CD. So the person used to give you two CDs. But DVD, when it came into picture, you could store multiple movies in the same DVD because it used to take up to 4.7 GB. Okay. Now CD drive is different, DVD drive is different. You can't use a CD drive to read a DVD. Now it comes CDs. Now these days, if you buy a drive, external DVD drive, then CD also can be read from DVD. Fine. So in DVD also there is read-only memory and rewritable. You will have a rewritable disk. If you go to shop, if you want to write data onto CD, you have to ask him to give a CD to write on it, or whether you want a rewritable DVD. You can erase contents and write over it. That is rewritable. Fine. All these things are different. I'm sure you will not go and ask for any CD, DVD in any shop. You will simply go buy a flash drive, 8 GB, HP, right? 8 GB, 30 GB, 100 GB. Flash drive, which will just get into your pocket, which you will forget and carry to semester end examination. in your pockets, which is not allowed. This is what happens with students. They will store everything, carry flash drives, take it to the exam hall and get caught. They'll forget it. It is there in the pocket. With the advent of technology, forgetfulness is also becoming more. Right? You agree with me or not? Are we not forgetting things these days with the advent of technologies? We are
Yes,
forgetting.
ma'am.
How many of you know your parents' phone number by heart? See,
Yes,
that is
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
very, very happy. I'm very happy. See, minimum things that you should know is phone number of your parents. They are the ones who are going to come into picture for any emergency, right? Yeah, see, most of you, I think everybody knows, right? Very good. You should remember the numbers. With storage of everything in phone, people don't remember numbers, and that's become a problem. Okay, if your phone goes for a toss, we've seen students, they can't call their parents. Right in front of RV College of Engineering, students have met with accident. We ask them to call their parent. They say no, from the spot, phone is gone for a toss. Phone is broken. No, my number is in the phone. I don't remember the number. I've heard this. So what do? We go to counselor, contact counselor, ask the counselor the parent name of this child. What world we are living in here? See, your parent's number, you have to ask your counselor. And of course, counselor need not by heart your parent's number. She will have to look for it and then tell you. Let us not, we will try to keep minimum things in our memory. Don't store passwords in your mobile phones. I'm an information security teacher. I'm a part of global cyber security team also for women. Okay, so I will, as and when we go forward, I'll keep giving you tips about staying safe on the internet. Okay, you're all a very, very vulnerable generation. I'm very scared. So, where you're all headed towards, without your knowledge, you would do mistakes, and with knowledge, also people do mistakes because that the hormones are different in the coming generations. They have a lot of, I don't know what to tell in English. I'll tell you some other day. So it's not kind of, they don't have fear for anything. That is a problem, actually. You should have fear, or else it is difficult. Okay, now enough philosophy classes. We'll go on when I'm as and when I'm taking. So I will start. So today we will start with the next new thing. Why is it not showing my PowerPoint? Yeah, this one. Okay, today we will start with programming, actual programming in C. Okay, it's already 11:35. I have 5 minutes, no problem. Now components of a computer, we have all seen input and output as a part of the components of computer. Now, how does C? Can you see the full screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Full screen. Okay, okay. As a part of our C program, how can we access this input and output? Okay, now C, let us first consider C. What C language is going to consider as standard input and standard output. So in this chapter, this is all you are going to study. You are going to talk about input stream, output stream, then what are the input functions, output functions. Specifically, we are going to see what is get character, put character, scanf and printf. These are the functions that are used to provide unformatted input and formatted input output. Okay, formatted and unformatted input and output. I will tell you what is formatted input and output. Okay, to carry out the input and output in C programming language, we use standard functions. What are these standard functions? These standard functions are, like I just told you, get character, put character, scanf, and printf. They are all inbuilt in C. You don't have to do anything. You just have to use them. In order to take a single character input from the program, we use get character. In order to output a character onto the screen, we use put character. Okay. Scanf and printf are a little advanced than get character and put character, wherein scanf and printer, they are also inbuilt in C, but you can take in formatted input and you can output in a specific format. You can output using printf in a specific format. And another advantage of scanf and printf is that it can handle multiple variables of different types of data. Different types of data. There are so many different data types in C. Int, char, string, etc. Float. All these data variables can be used for scanf, and using scanf and printf, you can take in different data types, and using printf, you can print out values of different data types, variables belonging to different data types. Okay. Because get character and put character, they are single character input, single character output functions. Because they are single character input and single character output, they don't need any format for input or output. Okay, this is not single character input and output, scanf and printf. Only get char and put char are single character input and output. Along with seeing these functions make use of what is called as format specifiers. These functions will use what is called as format specifiers. %d, %c that we use in printf, scanf, all these things are called as format specifiers. Okay, along with these format specifiers, we can also use what is called as a width modifier. These are some of the terms that we have to keep in mind when we are learning C. Because when I say which format the specifier are you going to specify for int, you should first know what is a format specifier. Then only you can answer my question. Okay, you can answer my question. So these are the terms that we'll be using in and out. In the C programming. Instead of going by each term, as and when we use, I will be telling you what I mean by control code, what I mean by size modifier, etc. Okay. Now, if you want, for example, let us take a decimal number. This is called as a float. Okay, floating point float data type can store decimal point numbers in C. Float data type. How many characters you want after the decimal point can be specified by making use of precision modifier. Okay, there are also what is called as flag modifiers, wherein you can specify when you are showing the output whether you want to include a plus sign, whether you want to include a minus sign, whether you don't want to include anything. If you just leave it, the plus sign won't be seen for positive integers. But if you specify explicitly saying that yes, I want to see whether it is plus or minus, then it will include plus or minus along with the output that is going to be displayed. If you want leading zeros, generally if we say 0, 0, 5, we consider it as only 5. but you still want to print the 00 along with 5, then you can use a flag modifier. You can use a flag modifier to specify how many leading zeros, you want to print along with the number. Okay, like that you can specify different modifiers. Now there are so many different input and output functions in C. Okay, and all these input and output functions, they are all inbuilt. Inbuilt means it is already available, we only use it. They are built by making use of a concept called data streams. Okay, now every program that is executing is connected to your input output devices. Correct? When I want to give an input to the program, I use my keyboard. If I want to see what is the output of my program, I see it on the monitor. Okay, now all this input that I'm giving through the keyboard and the output that you are seeing on the consoles, they are in form of data streams. They are in form of standard data streams. They are nothing but files. They are nothing but files that are opened by your operating system, and it is available to the C compiler or the C software that you have installed on your laptop. Okay, that is a standard data stream. C is any C executing program will have input output devices which are connected to standard data streams, which are files. Okay, data streams, they're also called as files. Okay, there, see, any data in your computer is stored in form of files. That's why they call it as files. And that is going to be used by your operating system in order to make it available for your C environment to work properly. Laptop you purchase from the shop, you simply can't start executing a C program. You need to install C environment. Basic thing is that, correct? You need to install C environment. That C environment, where do you install? On the operating system. Then there should be a link between the operating system and your C environment, because operating system knows how to communicate with your keyboard, how to communicate with your mouse, how to display something on the console, how to display something on the monitor. C environment has to make use of the operating system to do all these things. For that, this input output data streams, which is the standard data streams, are going to be used. These standard data streams are going to be used by the operating system. Okay, they are all these input output functions in C that we are talking about, they are all implemented by making use of a standard data stream. Okay, these data streams are connected to our input output devices, exactly like what I told you now. Okay. So based on the time I will continue, or else I can show it to you next time. The time now is 11:44. I think your class is going to end now. So what I'll do is, for today I will start here. I will share a few things. You can start working with C compiler, okay, on your computer. For now, I just want to take attendance. Still, I see that there are only 32 students today. I don't understand why the strength is less. Generally, chemical students is always, most of the students are present. How come? Let me just see. Give me 1 minute, I will take attendance. Today is 17. Pawan is
Present, ma'am.
Pawan. Nidhi? Satya is there. Om Sanjay is there. Sachin Shanbhag is there. Samir
Present.
I can. Samir is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Shashank is there. Rohit is there. Vijay Raghavan is there. What I'll do is I'll change the layout so that I can see lot of people together. Okay. Medhavi,
Yes, ma'am.
Bhuvan is there. Chetan,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. Chiklit is there. Bhavani is there. Vidhu is there. Devetu,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. Vaibhav,
Yes, ma'am.
Anirudh Bhatt is
Present,
there.
ma'am.
Pramod Shankar
Present, ma'am.
is there. Mihira is there. Umisha is there. Aryan. Aryan? Waleed is there. Vijaya is there. Pranav?
Present, ma'am.
Shreyansh?
Present, ma'am.
Abhishek is there. Harshit is there. Harshit is there? Is Harshit with us?
Yes, ma'am, Abhishek.
Yes, ma'am. Harshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Sinchana?
Yes, ma'am.
Sridhar?
Yes, ma'am.
Darshupriya?
Present, ma'am.
Mangalam?
Present, ma'am.
Anant is there. Khushi?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is that weird sound? Okay. Okay, thank you all. It's already 11:47. I'll try to finish on time next time onwards. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Join the classroom, all of you. Join the classroom.
ma'am.
and-
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Yeah,
ma'am.
thank
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
you. Bye.